Hi, I'm Jean Newman Glock, Viking's ambassador at large, and I've been with Viking in this role for about a year and a half, but I've been sailing with and loving Viking since almost the very beginning, so I don't feel that new. Also been hosting Beyond the Brochure with Jean, and I hope you've been enjoying these past 3 weeks of Beyond the Brochure Great Lakes. Every Monday, we're sharing more of that wonderful journey around all 5 Great Lakes. But for today, I'm thrilled to host Wanderlust Wednesday and talk about the metropolitan cities around the world and how you can explore them so many ways with Viking. It's so exciting to do pre and get ready for your cruise, and I love doing a post extension in the cities to soften the blow of leaving all that wonderful treatment and coddling we've had on the ships. So let's jump right in and explore metropolitan cities around the world, Viking way. Today, I'd like to tell you more about the metropolitan cities that you can visit on our Viking voyages. These are places with iconic architecture, rich culture, and a fascinating history. On our itineraries, you'll have opportunities to travel to the following cities: London, England; Barcelona, Spain; Paris, France; Istanbul, Turkey; Cairo, Egypt; Tokyo, Japan; Bangkok, Thailand; Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam; Hong Kong, China; Singapore, Toronto, Canada; Detroit, Michigan; New York, Los Angeles, California; and Buenos Aires, Argentina. Now, let's discover the cities that can be visited on our itineraries in detail. London is the beating heart of England, with a wealth of tradition that is unique to the iconic capital, from the guarding ravens of the Tower of London to the decorated pearly kings and queens, where every London borough has its own royalty. Samuel Johnson's assessment in 1777 still holds true today. When a man is tired of London, he is tired of life. Amid a pomp and pageantry steeped in centuries-old tradition, the city straddling the Thames thrives in a modern world, standing as a major cultural hub. Today, these colossal buildings still command awe and reverence. See the historic sights of London and then head to London's food and cultural district in the heart of the West End. Embark on a scenic drive through the bustling streets of London as you begin your tour from Whitehall, the center of British government. Past the Cenotaph, the United Kingdom's official National War Memorial, and the gates of number 10 Downing Street, home of the British Prime Minister. Take a short walk toward Westminster Abbey and St. Margaret's Church, then continue on to one of London's best-loved districts, Covent Garden. Enjoy a very special after-hours visit to the Tower of London and experience a unique centuries-old tradition. The Tower of London has been the setting for many great events during its 1,000-year history as a royal palace, fortress, prison, place of execution, and jewel house. Nobody knows more about the history of the tower than the yeoman warders, more commonly known as the Beefeaters. You will be captivated by the amazing story of those who have guarded this fortress for centuries during your private guided tour of the tower. Following your tour, witness the age-old tradition of the Ceremony of the Keys, which has been enacted every night without fail for almost 700 years by the chief yeoman warder of the tower. Discover how the D-Day landings were meticulously prepared in England as you unveil the secrets of Operation Overlord. Retrace the steps of Sir Winston Churchill as you learn more about the inspirational British statesman who led Britain through its darkest hours during World War II. At the Churchill War Rooms, enjoy a tour of the Cabinet War Rooms and Museum. See historic artifacts and personal memorabilia belonging to one of the most influential figures in British history. Walk through dimly lit corridors as you explore the network of underground tunnels fully operational a week before Britain declared war on Germany in 1939. The facility was abandoned in August 1945 after the surrender of Japan. You can visit London on these Viking journeys. On the ocean itineraries, British Isles Explorer, Into the Midnight Sun, Scandinavia and the British Isles, Baltic Jewels in the Midnight Sun, British Isles and Iceland Explorer, Asia to Europe Grand Passage, In Search of the Northern Lights, and Iberian Explorer. On river itineraries, you can visit London on Paris and D-Day, the 80th anniversary, and London, Paris, and D-Day. For those who would like to spend more time in London, we have a 2-night extension on our ocean itineraries and a 3-night extension on our river itineraries. This cosmopolitan metropolis offers unforgettable shopping, fine dining, and a wealth of museums and galleries that includes Tate and the British Museum. See Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, and the Tower of London. Barcelona enjoys a leisurely pace that is best expressed at its local tapas bars, where patrons nibble on small yet flavorful dishes, one plate at a time, with a glass of cava. Traditional tapas bars display warm and cold items in a glass case, many of them intensely flavored with garlic or chilies. Each dish is served with a toothpick, which diners save to tally how many items they've consumed. Well-known classics such as tortillas can be found in most eateries alongside escalabadas, a typical Catalonian tapa of grilled eggplants, peppers, and onions, topped with tuna or anchovies. Discover Barcelona's most iconic landmarks on a relaxing drive and a leisurely walk around this impressive city. You will pass the Columbus Monument and Port Vell, the seaside cultural shopping complex. Admire the Arc de Triomphe, a stately remnant from the 1888 World's Fair. Take in the breathtaking Parc de la Ciutadella, once home to the garrison that protected the city. Next, you will alight from your motor coach and walk into the historic center, stopping to view the stunning neo-Gothic Barcelona Cathedral. Enjoy some free time and an opportunity to take a short walk through the Gothic Quarter. Admire La Sagrada Familia and more of the creative architectural genius of Antoni Gaudi's surreal works. Construction began in 1882 and is scheduled for completion in 2026, the centenary of Gaudi's death. Step inside to marvel at its breathtaking, fantastical sanctuary. Pass the Casa Batlló, or House of Bones, and the hulking Casa Mila, 2 impressive Gaudi buildings featuring his characteristic curved facades and scooped-out windows. See impressive examples of the beautiful modernist buildings for which Barcelona is renowned. Visit the Palau de la Música Catalana, one of the world's leading concert halls and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Enjoy its beautiful exteriors and take in its striking interiors. Privileged access allows you to discover parts of the building not accessible to all. Visit Barcelona on these Viking journeys. On the ocean itineraries, iconic Western Mediterranean, Mediterranean Odyssey, trade routes of the Middle Ages, Mediterranean and Italian sojourn, Mediterranean antiquities, Malta, Morocco, and the Mediterranean, Mediterranean's iconic shores, Western Mediterranean Explorer, Iceland, British Isles, and Iberia, iconic Mediterranean treasures, and Southern Atlantic crossing. We also have a 2-night extension in Barcelona. Enjoy ample time to explore Barcelona's impressive architecture, including Antoni Gaudi's La Sagrada Familia and Parc Güell. Sample tasty tapas, stroll down the legendary Las Ramblas, or meander through the Gothic quarter of the Catalonian capital. Long a hub of French culture and cuisine, Paris is one of the most romantic cities in the world. Over the centuries, Parisian culture has been built on the wings of inspiration. Music, film, architecture, literature, dance, and the visual arts all have their brilliant place in the museums, theaters, bookstores, and remarkably preserved buildings of this magnificent city. At the center of it all is the Champs-Élysées, with its inviting riverside promenade, graceful bridges, and splendid views of all things Parisian, from the Eiffel Tower to the Louvre Museum. See the major sights of the romantic City of Light with a knowledgeable local guide. Begin along the famed Champs-Élysées, viewing the Arc de Triomphe, past many of Paris's classic highlights, including the Palais Garnier Opera House, the celebrated Louvre Museum, and the Paris Town Hall. Continue into the Latin Quarter, then drive by Saint-Germain-des-Prés, Luxembourg Gardens, Musée d'Orsay, Place de la Concorde, and the beautiful and recently restored Grand Palais and Petit Palais. Cap your excursion with an iconic view of the Eiffel Tower from the Champ de Mars. Visit one of the most celebrated districts in Paris, Montmartre, this bohemian enclave in which Belle Époque artists, writers, and poets such as Dali, Modigliani, Monet, Picasso, and Van Gogh whiled away hours and gained inspiration in cafes and at cabaret revues. Board a funicular, first opened in 1900, to ascend the hill to Sacré-Cœur, the splendid church of the Sacred Heart. Its oval dome is the second highest point in Paris after the Eiffel Tower. Honor the courage of Allied troops who changed the course of World War II on a moving visit to the D-Day beaches. Travel with your guide to the Normandy coast, passing the three beaches, Gold, Juno, and Sword, where British and Canadian troops came ashore. In Arromanches, see the remains of the ingenious Mulberry Harbor, a port that allowed Allies to land vast quantities of troops and supplies. Stop to visit the small Arromanches D-Day Museum. Then take some time to walk along the seafront. Follow the coast to the Normandy American Cemetery and the memorial in Colville-sur-Mer. Located high in a cliff over Omaha Beach, it is the final resting place of nearly 9,400 American servicemen and women. You will also stop at Omaha Beach, where you can take photos. You can visit Paris on these Viking journeys. On river itineraries, Paris in the heart of Normandy, Cities of Light, Paris to the Swiss Alps, France's finest, Paris and D-Day 80th anniversary, Christmas on the Rhine in Mosul, Christmas on the Main in Mosul, Christmas on the Seine, London, Paris, and D-Day. On ocean itineraries, trade routes of the Middle Ages and Asia to Europe Grand Passage. On world cruise itineraries, Viking World Cruise, Viking World Journeys, Viking World Voyage 1, and Viking World Voyage 2. On our river journeys, you can choose to extend your time in Paris on our 3-night extension. Become enchanted by the romance of France's capital, browse the art collections in the Louvre, or stroll along the Champs-Élysées, ascend the Eiffel Tower for a breathtaking view of the City of Light. Straddling Europe and Asia across the Bosphorus Strait, no other city in the world bridges two continents. Istanbul's history is evident on every corner, from the cascading domes of the Blue Mosque to the courtyards of the Topkapi Palace. Explore the shops and galleries in the European districts, while across the strait you'll want to see the fashionable Asian areas. At night, the old town's buildings illuminate the skies, and across the Sea of Marmara, twinkling lights of ships follow a trail to the Asian continent. Visit 3 of Istanbul's most impressive and legendary landmarks on this awe-inspiring excursion. At the iconic Sultan Ahmed Mosque, or Blue Mosque, you can marvel at the slender minarets and a cascade of domes, one of Istanbul's most recognizable sights. Explore its lavish interior, decorated with blue Iznik tiles that give the building its nickname. Visit the huge fortified complex of the Topkapi Palace to glimpse the lives of sultans. You will also browse the largest covered market in the world, the Grand Bazaar, whose narrow passageways play host to more than 3,000 cafes and shops. Explore the Asian and European sides of Istanbul on this panoramic drive and enriching tour. Along the Bosphorus Strait, stop for photos of Istanbul's majestic old city, a stunning vision of minarets and domes. On the European side of the strait, visit the magnificent Hagia Sophia, built as a cathedral and later converted into a mosque. At the Grand Bazaar, visit one shopkeeper to see how his richly decorated Turkish carpets are made. Privileged access. Please note that this excursion is offered on a few of our ocean itineraries, but not all. Visit the magnificent Hagia Sophia for a private tour free of crowds. Accompany your guide into the hallowed halls of Hagia Sophia to view its priceless treasures. Built as a cathedral, by some accounts by more than 10,000 workers, it was later converted to a mosque and is now a splendid museum containing some of the world's most beautiful mosaics and frescoes, plus runic inscriptions left by Vikings in the 10th century. Visit Istanbul on these Viking journeys. On ocean itineraries, ancient Mediterranean treasures, ancient Adriatic treasures, ancient Mediterranean antiquities, Mediterranean's iconic shores, iconic Mediterranean treasures, Adriatic and Mediterranean sojourn, and Asia to Europe Grand Passage. On world cruise itineraries, you can visit on Viking World Cruise, Viking World Journeys, Viking World Voyage 1, and Viking World Voyage 2. We also offer a 2-night extension in Istanbul. Discover where East meets West in timeless Istanbul as you visit the imposing Blue Mosque and the impressive underground cistern. Explore the expansive Grand Bazaar and enjoy a delicious Turkish-style lunch while scenically sailing on the Bosphorus Strait between the continents of Europe and Asia. For centuries, Cairo has played a central role in religious and cultural developments in Egypt. Today, the city is home to the only wonder of the ancient world still intact, the Great Pyramids of Giza. And the city's historic district, Old Cairo, boasts the world's highest concentration of Islamic architecture. In addition to these monuments, Cairo has been making efforts as a member of the UNESCO Creative City of Crafts and Folk Art to preserve its traditional craftwork heritage, including glass blowing, coppersmithing, pottery, ceramics, and jewelry. Enjoy a fascinating overview of Egypt's capital city and vast history. Drive to the citadel of Saleh el-Din, citadel of the mountain, perched on a rocky hill. Its great dome and towering minarets dominate the Cairo skyline. Home to over 60 mosques spanning the centuries, its most notable is the Mosque of Muhammad Ali, sometimes called the Alabaster Mosque for its gleaming interiors. Later, take a short drive with your guide to the remarkable Museum of Egyptian Antiquities. Built in 1897 and opened in 1902, the museum's 107 exhibit halls hold over 120,000 items dating from the prehistoric to the Greco-Roman periods. Marvel at Egypt's most magnificent and mysterious landmarks, the Great Pyramids of Giza and the Great Sphinx. At the Giza Plateau, walk in the shadow of one of the world's most astonishing complexes. The only remaining monuments of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, it is believed this trio of pyramids was built to serve as royal tombs for Khufu, his son Khafra, and his grandson Makari, so that their mummified bodies could be preserved for eternity. During your visit, you will also view the legendary Sphinx, carved from solid rock around 2650 BC. This enigmatic statue may have been carved as a monument to the sun god. Steeped in legend and superstition, it faces east to greet the rising sun. Explore the medieval Islamic heritage of Cairo, the largest city in the Arab world. Explore the medieval citadel of Saleh el-Din, built to protect the city from crusaders, and admire the Ottoman-era Muhammad Ali Mosque. Continue your journey and take in the city's Christian and Jewish heritage as you see the Hanging Church and the Ben Ezra Synagogue. Visit Muz Street, one of the oldest districts in Cairo and home to some of the finest examples of Islamic architecture, superbly reflected in the mosque and monuments that line the street. Explore the Khan el-Khalili, the bustling old souk where locals have been trading their wares since medieval times. Visit Cairo on these Viking journeys. On river itineraries, the pharaohs and pyramids. And on ocean itineraries, passage to India, voyage of Marco Polo, Australia, Asia, and the Mediterranean. Tokyo is a spellbinding blend of neon splendor and tranquil Shinto shrines, towering skyscrapers, and Zen gardens. Founded as the tiny fishing village of Edo, Tokyo's history was shaped by emperors and shoguns. As the Edo period progressed, it grew into one of the world's largest cities, as it remains today. Tokyoites embrace the traditional and the cosmopolitan here, both worshiping at the city's Asakusa Kannon Temple and frequenting the high-end retail stores of the Ginza district, all while the distant symmetrical cone of Mount Fuji watches over the city. Discover the tranquil past and the bustling present on a tour of Tokyo's highlights. Board your coach for a scenic drive to the Meiji Jingu Meiji Shrine, dedicated to Emperor Meiji and Emperor Shokin, the great-grandparents of the current emperor. Enjoy a stroll through the Imperial Palace Plaza, a spacious pine grove. Past Tokyo Sky Tree, the tallest building in Japan. In contrast to its gleaming modernity, visit Senjuji Temple. Its main house was built in 645 AD and is said to hold a gold statue of Konon, the Buddhist goddess of mercy. Explore the cultural treasures of Kamakura, a medieval capital of Japan. Visit the evocative Hassite Konon Temple and view the 30-foot gilded statue of Konon, the Buddhist goddess of mercy. Built in 721 AD, it is one of the largest wooden sculptures in the country. Stroll the grounds of the temple, relax at the pond garden, and enjoy views of the city and winding Yokohama Beach. Travel to Kotoku-in Temple, where the great Buddha of Kamakura sits. The imposing 43-foot bronze statue weighs approximately 102 tons and is hollow, allowing guests to view its interior. Take a stroll around the grounds while admiring the peace and harmony of its pond, designed using the principles of feng shui, or walk to the top of the main hall steps for a memorable view of the city. Admire Tokyo at night with a visit to the Tokyo Skytree and a motor coach tour through two of its famous districts. Opened in 2012, the Skytree is the highest standalone broadcasting tower in the world, at 2,080 feet tall. Head up to the observatory, which offers 360-degree panoramic views of this bustling metropolis. Gaze out over the city, its seemingly endless network of streets and buildings stretching toward the horizon while being illuminated against the night sky. Return to ground level where you may stroll through the area's shopping arcade. Continue on to the Ginza district, the center of modern Tokyo, and home to many upscale boutiques, restaurants, and fashionable hotels. Visit Tokyo on these Viking journeys. On ocean itineraries, Far Eastern Horizons, North Pacific Passage, Southeast Asia Horizons, Far East and Alaska, Australia, Asia, and Alaska, and Grand Pacific Explorer. Spend more time in Tokyo with our 2-night extension. Unravel the mysteries of Tokyo, Japan's neon-lit capital steeped in imperial history. Zen-like gardens and Shinto shrines mingle with towering skyscrapers in this bustling metropolis, all while the perfectly symmetrical cone of Mount Fuji watch is over. Often called the City of Angels, Bangkok is Thailand's largest and most populous city, a sprawling and heady mix of modern skyscrapers, floating markets, and long-tail boats skimming the Chao Phraya River. The scintillating capital of Old Siam engages all the senses, yet it seems devoutly grounded by the presence of its revered gilded wats, or temples. Wat Arun, in particular, can be seen from all corners of the city. This majestic riverside temple of dawn catches the first light of each day like a pearl, casting a soft glow on one of Asia's most remarkable cities. See the highlights of Bangkok during a panoramic tour designed to help you make the most of your time. Straddling the winding Chao Phraya River, this fascinating metropolis blends Thailand's cherished traditions with the advances of the modern world. View the vibrant streets of Chinatown, one of the city's oldest areas. Drive along the famous Ratchat Damian Road, or Royal Way, a tree-lined boulevard. Enjoy lunch at a local restaurant where you will savor the delicious cuisine of Thailand. Then travel to the ornate Wat Binchamabopit, or Marble Temple. Completed in 1911, this Buddhist temple is a fine example of traditional Thai architecture. Admire the symmetry and proportions of its high gables and stepped roofs. Immerse yourself in the culture of Bangkok as you explore this fascinating city. With your guide, drive to the Thai capital's most important landmark, the Grand Palace. Since 1782, it has housed the kings of the Chakri dynasty, the rulers of Siam. The Grand Palace, with its gold temples, pavilions, and gardens, centers on the temple that houses the Emerald Buddha. It is Thailand's most revered icon. Continue to Wat Po, home to the reclining Buddha. Cruise along the Chao Phraya, the heart of Bangkok, and explore the city's legendary canals. Pass by Wat Arun, the Temple of Dawn, adorned with ceramics that glitter in the sun. Discover the exotic beauty of Bangkok's primary flower market and cruise the bustling Chao Phraya River. Stroll the many stalls brimming with brightly colored flowers at the renowned Pak Klong Talit Market. A market has existed on this site since the late 18th century. The current incarnation has been operating for more than 60 years. Breathe in the fragrant air as you walk among the extensive arrangements of fresh roses, sunflowers, lotus flowers, and much, much more. Then embark on a private boat cruise along the bustling Chao Phraya and some of its more peaceful canals. Watch as the river buses and ferries ply their trade and see local life along the water. You can visit Bangkok on these ocean itineraries: across the Bay of Bengal, Bangkok, Bali, and beyond, Southeast Asia and Hong Kong, voyage of Marco Polo, Southeast Asia, South Pacific sojourn, Australia, Asia, and Alaska, Grand Pacific Explorer, Australia, Asia, and the Mediterranean. Complete your Southeast Asia journey with extra days in dynamic Bangkok. There will be free time to explore this multicultural city's many sites and attractions, including ancient palaces, temples, parks, and museums, traditional dance and theater, and world-class shopping. Founded as a small fishing village, Ho Chi Minh City is now Vietnam's largest city. Though still commonly called Saigon, locals are as likely to simplify the name of their hometown to HCMC. No matter what you call it, it is a seamless blend of history and modern youthful energy, where pagodas and French colonial grandeur mingle with bustling old-world marketplaces and modern skyscrapers, all against a constant buzz of motor scooters and the trill of bicycle bells. From enduring narrow alleyways to wide Parisian-style boulevards, Ho Chi Minh City has an identity all its own. Witness a rich blend of French colonial and Old World Asia. Begin with a stroll along Dong Quoi Street, the main shopping center and heart of old colonial Saigon. Continue to the ornate City Hall and the Opera House, each boasting a grand facade. Briefly stop at the neo-Romanesque Notre Dame Cathedral, built by the French between 1863 and 1880, and the Central Post Office, an elegant French colonial gem. Immerse yourself in recent history at the Reunification Palace, formerly Independence Palace, where Saigon fell. Head to Chinatown in the bustling Cholon district, then enjoy free time at the market, one of Saigon's earliest surviving structures. Experience Ho Chi Minh City fully and in the most authentic way when you tour the city by pedal cab. You will meet your driver, climb into your private cab, also known as cyclo-rickshaws or simply cyclos, and be whisked away into the energetic streets of Old Saigon. Exploring in the open air at a leisurely pace, you will see the city in greater detail as its nuances and subtleties unfold before you. Pass by the city's elegant French-inspired architecture, including the Grand Central Post Office, a masterwork of Gothic, Renaissance, and French styles, and the soaring Notre Dame Cathedral with its twin bell towers. Enjoy a traditional show at the Water Puppet Theater, then discover Ho Chi Minh City by night. The evening begins with a performance of a traditional water puppet show. This ancient art dates back to the 10th century, when after a harvest, the ponds and rice paddies served as stages for impromptu shows. Backed by a Vietnamese orchestra, singers tell the story being acted out by the puppets, which are controlled by a series of long wooden rods and strings. Often the plays have a rural theme relating to Vietnamese folklore and spiritual beliefs. After a memorable show, you will continue to a local hotel to sample some delicious Vietnamese cuisine. Your evening in the city concludes with a panoramic drive, highlighting the Reunification Palace, Notre Dame Cathedral, the Central Post Office, and the city square. You can visit Ho Chi Minh City on these Viking journeys. For a river itinerary, the magnificent Mekong. Ocean itineraries, Southeast Asia and Hong Kong, Southeast Asia, Australia, Asia, and Alaska, Grand Pacific Explorer, Jewels of Australia and Asia. And on the World Cruise itineraries, you can visit Ho Chi Minh City on the Viking World Cruise, Viking World Journeys, Viking World Voyage 1, and Viking World Voyage 2. A British overseas territory until 1997, Hong Kong is home to long-cherished Eastern traditions amid modern Western sensibilities. This forest of glittering skyscrapers stands between soaring mountains and bustling Victoria Harbor. The entire sweeping vista is best taken in from atop Victoria Peak, lush with landscape gardens and footpaths. Back down at sea level, Aberdeen provides a fascinating glimpse of China, old and new, as a skyward-reaching cluster of residential towers watches over a bustling bay where floating villages bob in the waters beside stylish pleasure boats. See the legendary highlights of Hong Kong from its sweeping vistas to its most intimate corners. Meet your guide and ascend to Victoria Peak, the 1,800-foot summit that soars over the city's skyscrapers. Known as the Peak by locals, it offers breathtaking views of the metropolis, Victoria Harbor, and Kowloon Peninsula. Along Hong Kong Island's south shore, browse the open-air Stanley Market, a picturesque warren of lanes lined with a rich array of open-air stalls selling clothing, jewelry, ornaments, and various keepsakes. Explore the locale of Aberdeen, a fascinating juxtaposition of modern and ancient. Next, embark a traditional sampan for a cruise through the harbor's floating village, where hundreds of people live on fishing junks, a stark contrast to the high-rise community that has risen on the island. Stroll the evocative streets of Hong Kong on a walking tour revealing some of the city's most iconic sights. You will be greeted by the smell of incense at the Man Mo Temple, Hong Kong's oldest and most famous. Then walk amid the antique shops, art galleries, and curio shops along Hollywood Road and discover the Hong Kong escalator, also called the People Mover, a moving sidewalk that is the longest outdoor covered escalator system in the world. You will also stroll down Pottinger Street in central Hong Kong, better known as the Stone Slab Street by the locals. Enjoy a Lee Yuen Market visit and cross Victoria Harbor on board the famous Star Ferry. Enjoy a scenic tram ride along the northern side of Hong Kong Island and experience a lively night market. Embark your vintage double-decker tram for an evening tour of the island's northern districts. Your guide will point out landmarks and relate the area's history as you wind your way from the Western Market to the Causeway Bay, then back again. After an 8-course meal at a local restaurant, head to Hong Kong's Golden Mile, Nathan Road. Stop at the bustling Temple Street Night Market. This popular bazaar features rows of brightly lit stalls displaying a variety of goods such as clothing, jewelry, and electronics. You can visit Hong Kong on these Viking ocean itineraries: Southeast Asia and Hong Kong, Far Eastern Horizons, Southeast Asia Horizons, Southeast Asia, Far East and Alaska, Australia, Asia, and Alaska, Grand Pacific Explorer. Extend your journey and discover the bustling city of Hong Kong, a shopper's paradise offering items from handicrafts and designer suits to antiques. See Victoria Harbor, Stanley Market, and the floating city of Aberdeen. Singapore transformed from a sparse island to the economic giant of Southeast Asia. Malays, Indonesians, Indians, Sri Lankans, and Chinese have all contributed to the city's rise as one of the world's most technologically advanced cities. Buddhist, Hindu, and Taoist temples rub elbows with Muslim mosques and Christian churches, alongside street signs in English, Chinese, Tamil, and Malay. Singaporean cuisine, too, has been shaped by the many cultures that have converged here. There is no better place to sample local fares than at one of the city's many open-air food courts. Discover the cultural diversity of Singapore on a relaxing coach tour of its cultural and natural highlights. In this island state that has been called Asia in microcosm, you will see futuristic skyscrapers and old Chinese shophouses, mosques and churches, shopping centers, and clean green parks. Shop at Mount Faber, where you will admire the panoramic views over the harbor and the city. Drive through the financial district and enjoy the impressive vistas of Marina Bay from Merlion Park. In Chinatown, you'll visit the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple and see its impressive exhibit of 100 Buddha statues in the 100 Dragons Hall. Cap your excursion with a stop at Singapore's Botanic Garden, whose natural orchid garden displays more than 1,000 species and 2,000 hybrids of these rare and delicate blooms. Ride a public bus, a riverboat, a trishaw, and the MRT subways during this fun, hands-on exploration of Singapore. You will be given a Singapore survival kit with essential and quirky items like a map, mineral water, Easy Link, that's the city's smart card for the MRT, and public bus and more. Then, get ready to immerse yourself in the vibrant ethnic melting pot that has been called Asia in microcosm. You will see futuristic skyscrapers and old Chinese shophouses, mosques and churches, shopping centers, and clean green parks. Explore neighborhoods like Chinatown, Little India, the Colonial District, and Singapore River. Visit Gardens by the Bay, a futuristic horticultural park, and take in the views from Marina Bay Sands Sky Park. Gardens by the Bay is a national garden and horticultural attraction with more than 1 million plants showcased in ingenious landscape designs. Enter the Flower Dome, the world's largest columnless greenhouse, in a world of perpetual spring. Then ascend to the 650-foot-high Marina Bay Sands Sky Park, the world's largest cantilevered observation deck. You can visit Singapore on these Viking ocean itineraries: across the Bay of Bengal, Bangkok, Bali, and beyond, voyage of Marco Polo, Southeast Asia, South Pacific sojourn, jewels of Australia and Asia, Australia, Asia, and Alaska, Australia, Asia, and the Mediterranean, Grand Pacific Explorer, Asia to Europe Grand Passage. You can also visit on these World Cruise itineraries: Viking World Cruise, Viking World Journeys, Viking World Voyage 1, and Viking World Voyage 2. Toronto is beloved by many as one of Canada's boldest and most innovative capitals. Hugging the shores of Lake Ontario and facing the picturesque Toronto Islands, it was founded by British loyalists fleeing the American Revolution in 1793. Today, the city is a pleasure to explore on foot, whether strolling past the Victorian Bay and Gable homes of Rosedale or the historic enclave of Winchwood Park, an Ontario Heritage Conservation District. The city's Distillery District is home to North America's largest preserved collection of Victorian industrial architecture. Take to the water and explore your surroundings with a member of your Viking expedition team, dressed in a kayak suit, depending on the season, and bespoke life jacket for maximum maneuverability. You will be geared up to remain warm and dry during your expedition experience. Immerse yourself in nature as you journey along the tranquil waterways of Lake Ontario, reaching less accessible locations along the water's edge and keeping watch for local wildlife. Take a ride through Ontario's capital and enjoy a stop at a majestic castle. Embark on a scenic drive through the city, passing some of the capital's well-known landmarks. See the iconic needle-shaped CN Tower, one of the world's tallest buildings, at 1,815 feet high. View the modern City Hall and its predecessor, the Romanesque-style Old City Hall, both of which surround expansive Nathan Phillips Square. Enjoy the sights of the city's vibrant shopping district. Arrive at Casa Loma, a modern-day castle built in 1914 by financier Sir Henry Pellet. This fairy tale home housed many prized works of art and was frequently used to entertain guests, paying homage to Camelot and the days of castles and knights. Stroll through Ontario's capital and enjoy free time to visit the St. Lawrence Market. Located across 3 sites, this historic venue was first established during the early 19th century and has remained an important fixture of Toronto's architecture ever since. During your visit, you may explore the St. Lawrence South Market's gallery to view the exhibits that chronicle the market's history. The South Market is also home to many vendors, farmers, and food producers, offering a wide variety of fresh produce, baked goods, and dairy products, as well as a range of handmade items and antiques. After your visit to the market, continue to The Path, an underground network of restaurants, shops, and entertainment venues. This unique walkway connects 18 miles of amenities to Toronto's public transport system, which is an important part of the city's modern heritage. You can visit Toronto on these Viking journeys: Canadian Discovery, Canada and Greenland Explorer, Canada and the Northwest Passage, Great Lakes Collection, Niagara and the Great Lakes, Canada and the Atlantic Coastline, Canada and East Coast Explorer, Canada to Cape Horn Grand Explorer. You can also visit on these longitudinal World Cruise itineraries: Longitudinal World Cruise 1, 2, 4, and 5. Explore cosmopolitan Toronto, one of Canada's most diverse and exciting cities. Embark on a panoramic journey through the capital of Ontario, passing iconic landmarks and trendy, culture-rich neighborhoods, and discover Canada's renowned Group of 7 painters at the Art Gallery of Ontario. Detroit sits on one of the four straits that link the Great Lakes to the St. Lawrence Seaway and has emerged as a city rich in culture. In 2015, it became the first U.S. city to earn designation as a City of Design by UNESCO for its creativity and urban development. Detroit was founded as a fort in 1701 and later grew into the epicenter of the U.S. automobile industry. Today, the city is beloved as the birthplace of Motown, a portmanteau of motor and town. Its waterfront reveals remarkable examples of postmodern and Art Deco skyscrapers. Delve into the world of automobile manufacturing during a visit to the Ford Rouge factory. Designed by renowned architect Albert Kahn and built along the banks of the Rouge River in Dearborn, the River Rouge complex opened in 1928 and was a manufacturing marvel, the largest integrated factory in the world at the time. Marvel at the immense scale of the factory's size as you learn about its storied history of harnessing American ingenuity to facilitate game-changing technology and sustainable design. You will also get an inside look at the production of the F-150 and gain insight into modern manufacturing's most progressive concepts. Dive into the iridescent decor of some of Detroit's famed landmarks and visit Pewabic Pottery Studio. Embark on a scenic drive to view some of the city's installations of the stunning tiling works of this pottery. Their colorful tiles grace the buildings of Washington, D.C.'s Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception and Chicago's Shedd Aquarium. Step inside the Guardian Building, one of the most striking Art Deco buildings in the world, before continuing on to Pewabic's headquarters, a National Historic Landmark Tudor Revival building, for an insightful tour of the facility and ceramic works on display. During a workshop, you will learn about the techniques used in the creation of these eye-catching tiles. Then have a go at glazing your own. Your masterpiece will be sent directly to your home after a firing in the kiln. Uncover the culture, architecture, and communities that shaped Detroit's evolution through the 20th century. From its boomtown days as a manufacturing powerhouse to its place among the world's wealthiest cities by the 1950s, the turbulent history of Detroit can be seen in the architecture, public art, and preservation efforts throughout the expansive city. Meet your expert preservationist and set out on foot through the city's downtown, where remnants of its one-time opulence can be seen along famed Woodward Avenue. Gain insight into Detroit's past as you explore streets where bygone commercial and industrial enterprises have been repurposed into new ventures and opportunities. Stroll the neighborhood surrounding the Eastern Market, the city's storied hub of public commerce. You can visit Detroit on these Viking journeys, Niagara and the Great Lakes, or on the longitudinal World Cruise Itineraries 4 and 5. New York City is at once romantic and exhilarating. From the robust streets of Lower Manhattan's financial district to the intimate warrens of Greenwich Village, the city overflows with culture, cuisine, and architectural beauty. New York is for everyone. Music lovers marvel at Carnegie Hall or catch a 1920s-style jazz and blues show in Harlem. Romantics board a horse-drawn carriage in Central Park. Art lovers browse the Museum of Modern Art or the Guggenheim. And theatergoers attend the greatest shows in the world on Broadway amid the glitter of Times Square. Take in all of New York, from Wall Street to Harlem, from the Hudson to the East River, on one comprehensive tour. Drive with your guide into the canyon-like streets of the city, founded as New Amsterdam. You will pass the Brooklyn Bridge, City Hall, Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, Metropolitan Museum of Art, and Central Park. Stop at 30 Rockefeller Plaza and ascend to the top of the Rock observation deck for magnificent 360-degree views. See the 9/11 Memorial, 2 pools within the footprints of the Twin Towers. Later, visit the breathtaking hall of Grand Central Terminal, a Beaux-Arts masterpiece. See New York's famed tall ships and embark a motorboat for an hour-long scenic cruise of New York's waterways. Meet your guide and drive to the historic South Street Seaport. A designated historic district, the pier's history dates to the 18th century. Some of Manhattan's oldest architecture is here, including mercantile buildings with a rich past. Admire the graceful tall ships, then embark your motorboat for a scenic cruise along the Hudson River. As you get underway, enjoy unparalleled views and informative commentary. Cruise under the Brooklyn Bridge and see the Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, and World Financial Center. Cruise past Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Ellis Island, gateway into the U.S. for countless immigrants. Later, your captain will linger in front of the Statue of Liberty for a fantastic photo opportunity. Experience New York City as the lights come up during this evening excursion. Your exploration culminates at the top of the Empire State Building. Marvel at the dazzling lights of Broadway and the illuminated icons of the city, the string of pearls strung above the humming roadway of the Brooklyn Bridge, the spectacular Art Deco stainless steel-capped Chrysler Building, the soaring Rockefeller Center, the neo-Gothic Woolworth Building, and the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor. Continue across Midtown Manhattan and ascend the iconic Empire State Building, New York's second tallest building after the new One World Trade Center. From the famous observation deck on the 86th floor, take in breathtaking panoramic views of the city. You can visit New York on these Viking journeys: on ocean itineraries, Eastern Seaboard Discovery, Eastern Seaboard Explorer, iconic Iceland, Greenland, and Canada, grand fjords and iconic Viking shores, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, and beyond, Canadian Discovery, Canada to Cape Horn, Grand Explorer. Also on these world cruise itineraries, Viking World Voyage 1 and Viking World Voyage 2. And finally, on the longitudinal world cruise itineraries, Longitudinal World Cruise 1, 2, and 4. Enjoy 2 additional nights to take in the legendary metropolis of New York, from its towering skyscrapers to world-class museums, and from Broadway shows to the moving memorial at Ground Zero. Los Angeles is renowned as the world's leading center of film and television and is home to an endless array of museums, concert venues, and other cultural institutions. The city also offers some of the best dining in the world. Along the palm-lined streets of Beverly Hills, grand celebrity mansions hide behind iron gates. The chic shops of Rodeo Drive invite endless browsing. The Roosevelt Hotel, an icon built in the 1920s that once served as the residence of Clark Gable and Carole Lombard, oversees the Hollywood Walk of Fame and the historic Grauman's Chinese Theater. The following excursions are available on the Viking World Cruise and Viking World Voyage 1 itineraries. View historic treasures and cultural gems of the City of Stars on an entertaining, informative panoramic drive. Meet your guide and embark on a narrated panoramic ride by motor coach past famous landmarks like the Los Angeles Coliseum, the University of Southern California, and the Museum of Natural History en route to the downtown area. Stop at the Music Center and drive past Olvera Street, nicknamed the birthplace of Los Angeles. It is the city's oldest street. Stop by for photos at the world-famous Hollywood Walk of Fame, where you will see the names of celebrities emblazoned on stars embedded in the sidewalk. See the nearby Dolby Theater, home to the annual Oscars ceremony, and the historic Grauman's Chinese Theater. Visit the historic and famous Original Farmers Market for free time to browse the many food stalls, eateries, prepared food vendors, and produce markets. Explore by foot and enjoy an insider's view of Hollywood's iconic landmarks, learning history and lore as you go. Meet your guide and drive to Hollywood Boulevard, the famous address of renowned theaters and some of the most recognized attractions in the world. Stroll along the Walk of Fame, where the hands and footprints of legends are immortalized in rose-hued terrazzo and brass stars. Admire the famed facade of the Chinese Theater and see the Hollywood sign. Pass by the Dolby Theater, where the Oscars ceremony is held, the El Capitan Theater, where Disney hosts its premieres, and the Egyptian Theater, home to the original movie premiere. You will also have the opportunity to visit the awards walk of the Academy Awards. Discover the historic downtown core of Los Angeles amid the exciting progress of a Renaissance. Accompanied by your local guide, you will view some of this metropolitan city center's finest architectural sites. See highlights including the Broadway Theater District, the Bradbury Building, the Jewelry District, Pershing Square, and Grand Central Market. You will visit the renovated Angel's Flight, a treasured 116-year-old short funicular railway that makes an appearance in the acclaimed 2016 film La La Land. The dense city center of one-way streets and grand buildings replete with architectural detail is best explored on foot. As you walk, you will experience the colorful, bustling street life of this vibrant area. Learn the history of Los Angeles from its early 20th century development to the genesis of some of its unique landmarks, glorious architectural gifts from the city's golden age that endure, standing proud for all to explore. You can visit Los Angeles on these Viking journeys. On ocean itineraries, Panama Canal and the Pacific Coast, Panama Canal and Coastal Holiday, Pacific Coast Explorer, Hawaiian Island Sojourn, Grand Hawaii and Polynesia, Grand South Pacific and Australia, West Indies and Panama Canal Passage. Also on these World Cruise itineraries, Viking World Cruise, Viking World Journeys, Viking World Voyage 1, and Viking World Voyage 2. Walk in the footsteps of movie stars and media moguls in the city of Los Angeles, renowned as the world's leading center of film and television. Enjoy time to explore on your own, then take a guided tour to marvel at the Getty Villa's vast art collection. Buenos Aires, Argentina's cosmopolitan capital, is an eclectic combination of Latin and European influences. The tree-lined streets and post-colonial architecture draw on the city's Spanish, French, and Italian heritage, while the many cafes and bodegas and vibrant nightlife are decidedly Argentine. Its barrios or neighborhoods exude an intimate atmosphere that belies the city's size. Full of bohemian flair, historic San Telmo's cobblestone streets and Belle Époque-style buildings reverberate with the mesmerizing melodies of the tango. The following excursions are available on our ocean itineraries. Experience the diverse communities of Buenos Aires during a scenic tour and learn about the city's early settlers. Around the Plaza de Mayo, see the city's major public buildings, such as the Cabildo, Buenos Aires Metropolitan Cathedral, and the rose-colored Presidential Palace. Stop to visit the Alzandón de Granados, a museum housed in a 200-year-old mansion above a set of tunnels that date back to Buenos Aires' early settlements. Cap your tour with a stop in La Boca, the capital's most colorful neighborhood. La Boca's vibrant cityscape is marked by the brightly painted houses and corrugated iron roofs of El Caminito. Experience the passion and elegance of the tango with an evening dinner and show. Tango mixes African rhythms and European music to create an expressive dance where partners maintain harmony and connection with each other and the music. During the evening, you will have an opportunity to admire all the qualities of tango in its different expressions. singers and dancers, as well as a tango orchestra, while enjoying dinner. Discover Buenos Aires' rich artistic history during visits to important cultural landmarks. Head to Recoleta Cemetery, built in 1822, and the city's first cemetery. Walk along the elaborate marble mausoleums, the final resting places for some of Argentina's most powerful and well-known citizens, including former presidents, scholars, artists, and authors. Continue to the world-famous Colón Theater. Originally opened in 1857, today's refurbished incarnation boasts some of the best performance venue acoustics in the world. Enjoy a guided tour through the rich red and gold decor and view its 4,000-person capacity auditorium. Then, travel to the colorful neighborhood of La Boca and visit the Benito Quinquela Martin Museum. Admire its collection of figurative art and see paintings by several Argentinian artists. Visit Buenos Aires on these Viking journeys. On ocean itineraries, South America and the Chilean fjords, South Atlantic crossing, the Mediterranean and South Atlantic. On expedition itineraries, on Antarctic Explorer, Antarctic and South Georgia Island, Antarctic Adventure, Chilean fjords and Patagonia Explorer, Argentina and the Chilean fjords, Antarctic Explorer and the Americas, Patagonia fjords and Panama Canal, and on these two longitudinal world cruise itineraries, Longitudinal World Cruise 1 and 5. For those who would like to spend more time in Buenos Aires, we have a one-night extension on our expedition itineraries and a two-night extension on our ocean itineraries. Be captivated by the vibrant culture of Buenos Aires, Argentina's cosmopolitan capital. Explore two of the city's colorful barrios, or neighborhoods, bustling Palermo and historic San Telmo. Thank you for joining us today as we explored all the metropolitan cities around the world that you can explore on Viking ocean, river, and expedition cruises. I hope we can welcome you on board someday soon. I look forward to saying hello in person.